All right, guys, today we got a 2013 Dodge Caravan with a 3.6 liter in it. It's running rough, it's got codes, it's been to the parts store. Got to figure this thing out. Let's get into it. So, this car's been to the parts store for the parts store code scan. Client told us that they went to the parts store and it needs coils, spark plugs, and an intake manifold. That's what they told us. So, okay, they brought in the paper from the parts store. Paper from the parts store says it needs suggested 3 parts. Coils, or that says coil, but clearly this has 6 coils on it. Spark plugs, and an intake plenum gasket. So they probably just heard intake, and that's, you know, codes that they show here are PO300, random cylinder misfire, PO457, it says loose fuel cap. We all know that's a large evap leak, and a small evap leak. So that's what we got that we're working with. Let's go ahead. I want to get the maintainer on it. I want to get a scanner in it. As a matter of fact, let's do this in a efficient manner. Let's go ahead and get the scanner in it. And then while it's doing its thing, I'll scan the car. We all know that these kind of cars are fun. If we want to look inside, I really don't want to breathe too much in here, to be quite honest with you. We're going to do this outside. You want to take a look in there. How about switch that key on, cameraman? And go ahead and pop the hood. It's always fun working on those things. I understand everybody's got a life, and I'm not poking fun, but you know, some cars it's just more difficult when you're in there working on them. So hope we want to be inside this car. All right. And we'll get this thing scanning. All right. Oh, and I just want to thank everybody. In the one of the last videos, I had asked about the search bar, and a bunch of people commented, and it was South Main Auto that I saw it on. So I'm gonna I'm gonna use it probably on this one. So let's go ahead and start scanning it. While it's doing that, I'm gonna put maintainer on it. Alright. So right now I'm trying to get the maintainer to fire up, and for some reason, oh, there she goes. All right, maintainer's up and running. I'm gonna get this other fender cover on. Perfect. All right, let's see what we got. All right, we're done here. Let's look at. So we have 5 faults in the engine control module. You can see that good, or you need me to move it?
Yeah, move it a little bit.
There we go. By that. All right. All right, let's see what we got. Map sensor circuit low. That's an active code. Multiple cylinder misfire is stored. The 457 is stored. Thermostat rationality. And there's our other evap. All right, so the only one that we have that's active right now is the map sensor code. So I will say this, when I went to pull this thing in. It ran okay. Seemed like it ran okay when I first started. Now it's been sitting in the bay for a little bit. It's not warm at all right now. When I first started, it seemed to run okay. And the client states that it only runs bad going down the road. I think 70 miles an hour. It's got a little bit of a roughness to it. But it was like it hit a moment where it was like running good, and then bam. It almost felt like it was an ignition misfire. Like it just started going, but then it started to be like all over the place. So, you know, we kind of get that feeling from the seat of our pants of what we think it is. Is it ignition? Is it fuel? Something? You know, just to kind of maybe get us a guide. But this one just kind of started to run just overall rough. Let me go ahead. I'm going to get it started, and then we'll get some data pulled up. So I'm just going to start it and work out here. And I know you guys are out there, you can't see it, but right now we've got a check engine light on, the traction control light on, and actually it's got a throttle light flashing. So the red throttle light is also flashing on this car. So, all right, let me go ahead and escape out of that. Let's go ahead and go in. And it, even right now, got a little roughness to it. Let's go into engine control module. Alright, let's go to misfire data. Like that, right off the bat. Let's just see what we got. Alright. So we are basically misfiring all over the place. So we know, here's your PO300, which it says is not active right now, but clearly it is misfiring everywhere. Looks like 1, 3, and 5 are definitely worse than the others. 1, 3, and 5. So we need to make sure we kind of get that in our memory here, because if that's one bank, that could be something we need to look at. 1 looks like it's the worst of the bunch, but I mean they're all counting up pretty hard. But look at, we got 2, we got 4, and we got 6 that are, even though they're counting, they're pretty low, whereas these are all pretty aggressive. So I'm going to look that up and see what bank that's on. If 1, 3, and 5 are on one bank, which probably are. Let's go into live data. All right, and this is where the search bar was, up here. So fantastic. So I'm going to use it, and I want let's see if it's got long-term fuel trim. All right, there's bank 1 long-term. Bank 2 long term. Now let's see if we can do, man, I like this. Here's short term. Alright, let's look at our map. Vacuum, map volts. I want to look at barometric. Alright, we are at sea level here. Alright, so now I want to show selected. Do that. There we go. All right, nice. Okay. Let's see here.
It's frozen.
No. Is it frozen? No. Thought I saw something moving, but yeah, it looks like it is frozen a little bit. You know what? Let's do this. Let's go show all. Okay, what just happened here? Show selected again. Something was moving, but now it's not moving. It's just stuck.
Dropping.
I don't know what happened here. All right.
Probably dropping. Let's see what happens.
Oh, something's moving.
Probably one.
It can't be that that's only moving that little bit, though. There's no way that these aren't moving at all. Let me go. I need to get this in front of me, so I know that's going to make it harder for the cameraman, but I can't be leaning over like that. I'll be in the back surgery. Let's go show all, and I want to look for my oxygen. Okay, I don't know why it won't let me search for everything. Clearly I'm not good with the search deal. Why is it not letting me? Okay, well now we just started all over again. Lovely. All right, let's do that and that. That. The search thing worked really good for a minute for me, and then I'll get it though. Long term. I want. It's got to be some type of O2 somewhere here, or maybe it's H. That didn't work for what I wanted, but heater. There's our injectors. Okay. And this thing's running a little rough right now, but not what it was when I was feeling it before. Oh, now, and then of course, as soon as I say that, it stays running really bad right now. Let's look at our desired on our cam positions, just because. So here's our exhaust cam. 1, desired and actual. 2, desired and actual. I'm just going to do, let's see here. I was just looking for something to be off. If there's like a big skew in those two, then you know one of those is probably stuck or sticking. Let's see if we've got a. I feel like there'd be more than this in here. It's got to be more than this in here.
You got an H on it.
Is that why it's doing that? Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. That makes sense. All right, let's look. I want to see what purge, because the purge is something that we could have an issue with. But this thing is like right now. All right. I want to look at that other. I wonder if this is going to show me intake. All right, so intake cam. So here's our exhaust cam difference, intake cam difference. Not much. Intake cam desired, actual, desired, actual. I mean, that's really close. Okay, so just because I was looking for one bank, remember one bank was misfiring more than the others. This thing is skipping hard right now. I want to go back over here. I mean, it's like a dead skip right now. So again, 1, but now look here, we got 2. He's getting up there now. 3. Now 5 is not doing bad, but 4 is. 6 is 0. So it's just all over the place. So first thing I want to do, and I know I'm just kind of maybe not doing what I preach sometimes, which is, you know, get some information, and I want to just real quick here. I didn't see a fuel trim thing being way off. But I just want to see if I can find anything obvious, first of all, on our map or anything here. All right, I want to try to find real quick our purge. I might have to look this up. I'm hoping I could find something easy and fast, but clearly not. All right, give me just a few minutes, guys. I'm gonna look some information up. Let me see how this purge works. Let me see if I can't locate where it is. This thing is really, it's jumping around. Now it's not as bad as it was, but it's still rough. We may need to do some ignition waveforms. I need to make a plan of attack here. I need to stop what I'm doing. I'm going down some rabbit holes. Let me make a game plan, get some information on these codes, what we're looking for. We'll come back and we'll keep going forward. Hey guys, we're on our way to 100K. You know, we really appreciate you guys that have subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, just hit that button right now. It'll get us there quicker. We're gonna do a great giveaway when we get to 100K. We haven't really decided on what it's gonna be, but I promise you it's gonna be something really nice. So just hit that subscribe button right now, and we appreciate you guys watching. Let's get back to the video. So I was headed down a rabbit hole, had to stop, back up. You know, we get into a vehicle, it's running rough, we just immediately want to do stuff. I preach not to do that. I was just about to do that. I stopped and just regrouped. We've got an active code for the map sensor. We should have an active code for the misfires, but it is what it is. Remember, we were looking at the map sensor. I've got some data pulled up. We were looking at the map sensor earlier. It didn't look like it was moving. So I have pulled up some data, and I don't know what we're going to find here, because we're going to go from enhanced side, which I'm in now, and we're going to go to generic, and we're going to see if we see a difference. So come on in, let me show you what we got. I've got the scope hooked up, just so you guys can see. I've got it hooked up to the map sensor, all 3 wires to the map sensor. I don't know which one's what, doesn't matter. I know I'm going to have power, ground, and signal. Map sensor, it's going to be 5 volts. Let's go into, this is that, it's not running right now. Let's go ahead and that's the map sensor. It's really, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's come back to that. I want to look at this data because this stuff will mess you up. All right, this engine's sitting there idling. We can see that the RPM is changing, right? So let's do this. I want to graph that, and let's graph the engine speed. So I've got our map and our engine speed, so we can see those 3 graphs. Let me go inside, and I'm going to just blip this throttle real quick. Blip the throttle. So, get back out here so I can see it. So we can see something happened here, right? It went off the screen pretty quick. We didn't see anything happen on this voltage, correct? Okay, so we saw the engine RPM go up, correct? Mm-hmm. So now, why didn't we see voltage change? If the voltage is what makes the engine module know what the vacuum is. The vacuum changed, but the voltage didn't change. So we've definitely got an issue there, but we have a number on it. So let me get back in here. Let's go ahead and close these up. Can I turn that off now? Oh my. There we go. Gotta get used to this tool. I used Auto for a long time, just never used a lot of the functions on it. All right, so we've got, I pulled up our purge and stuff too, just because I was gonna look at that earlier. Let's look at our O2 sensors. So look at this O2 sensor. This is it says 0 to 1. So this is bank 1, sensor 1, O2 volts, 0 to 1. Now, for years, we're used to seeing 0 to 1, right? But these are not regular O2 sensors. These are wideband O2 sensors. So why are we seeing this voltage? Well, this is a made-up number. We can see that bank 2, sensor 1, is just sitting at 0.92. There's no way. There's no way it's just sitting at 0.92. It's not just stuck there. This one's moving. A minute ago when I was looking at this, it was at 0.92. So what happened to change that? Our long term, maybe that sits there kind of still for a while, but I mean, this is sitting for a long time. Look at our short term. It's just sitting at 1.6 and 0. It should be reacting to this O2 sensor. So these work on amperage, not on volts, and this is a made-up number. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to back out of this so you can see where we're at. The main one we're looking at is map, sitting at 0.05 and not moving, right? Our engine speed is clearly moving, and something's happening up here to our vacuum, right? So, and let's look at this O2 sensor here, which we may or may not see this PID in generic, but we're going to go to generic, and we're going to look at fuel trims. I'm not going to worry about purge and all that. We're going to look at map, we're going to look at fuel trims, and O2s. So let's go ahead and back out. We'll go into generic. Because if I'm hoping we're going to see what I think we're going to see here, which is we're going to see some true data instead of some made-up data. Because Chrysler is notorious for this. So we're just going to live data in the engine module. All right, let's see. Here's short term, here's long term. Short term, long term. Intake manifold. It's going to be our map. Here is oxygen sensor output voltage. Okay, so it is going to give me that number. And sometimes generic, you know, depending on the year, I think the EPA mandates they have to do this in this kind of format, but it's not always correct. That one's still sitting at 0.92 though. Let's look at short term. No, that's downstream. We don't worry about that. All right, so I got all that. So let's show selected. All right, so do we see anything different? We don't have intake manifold. Let me see. Let me go back out. Show all. Let's just be sure I didn't miss something with map. Let's get the RPM too while we're here. Okay, I don't see anything else with map, so we're going to show selected. So we're still showing just as a random number there, or a number, and we're showing the RPM's moving around. This oxygen sensor is showing something happening, and this one's just dead sitting at 0.92. All right, so where do we go here? We've got fuel trims that aren't reacting. I mean, this is just not normal. Even if this one is sitting at 0.92, okay, so it's not moving anything. All right, maybe that one sits at 156 and just sits there and nothing moves. But this one is clearly moving, and if this one's moving, then we've got to be making an adjustment on short term. I mean, there's no way that we've got a movement in an O2 sensor, and I mean, let's graph it. I mean, we've got, you know, rich lean, right? And the only way we're moving that O2 sensor is we're changing short-term fuel trim, but we're not changing short-term fuel trim. So something is not kosher in Pickleville here, right? So let's go ahead and let's look at the map sensor, because we know that's a code that's happening. We know that that thing is stuck, not moving as far as the voltage on the scanner, even though the pressure was moving. So let's go over here, and I'm just going to take this and I'm going to go inside, and I'm going to start the deep record. I'm going to rev this up. We can see our green is on our 5-volt reference. We just don't know what the other two are. One of them's ground, one of them's So I'm revving the engine up right now. So engine was revved. I froze it from over there, and we really don't see anything happening, right? So if I'm looking at this sensor, and we are connected, just so y'all know, let me just show you guys. We are connected on those three, right? So it's not like it's a bad connection. We can look here and go, okay, what is, you know, red looks like it's ground, but that's real close also. So I'm gonna go with, usually I can look this wiring diagram up, but it doesn't really, here's the thing, guys, we're trying to fix cars, right? So we know we've got power, right? And our power is on our green, so here's our green. And we know one of these two should be ground and one of these two should be signal. Now, it used to be back in the day, the middle was always the signal, but you know, that doesn't always hold true. But right now, what do I care? I don't care. That thing is clearly not moving at all. And when you rev this engine up, nothing is happening on that. I mean, that's what you're looking at right here. This little teeny, that's nothing, right? That's no movement. So right off the bat, we know going into that map sensor, we've got power and we've got ground. We don't need to go anywhere else. We're not shorted to ground on our signal wire because we do have something on it. So we don't need to go chasing that wire down. What we need to do right off the bat here is we got a bad map sensor right off the bat, right? Again, I was about to go down the rabbit hole and do all kind of stuff, and boom, we got a bad map sensor right off the bat. Can that cause all of our issues? Absolutely. Now, I don't think that that's going to cause an issue with our EVAP system, but I'm not saying that for sure, because what if it uses map sensor output to know when the purge actually opened, and maybe it changes something? So we're definitely going to have to look into that and see. I don't know on that one. What I want to get first is I want to get the engine running right. So we're going to get authorization for a map sensor. We're going to get a map sensor here, get that put in this vehicle. We're going to keep everything like it is, redo this, and see where we're at there. And then, if we need to, we'll go chasing down the EVAP codes. Got the map sensor in. Got here pretty quick. I've got it in. I've got it running. Let's take a look. So right off the bat, we can see that our yellow trace is no longer sitting at basically nothing. Now we've got something happening here, right? So we're going to get we're going to do a deep record on it. We still got our other two, so this is our ground. So let's just take a look. What is our red? Our red is on our middle. So our middle one on this one is ground. So unlike we're used to, the middle one is not our signal, right? We didn't really need to know that, but now we do know. Let's look at our data. Look at our data really, I mean, now it's doing things, right? So now we've got short term, you know, trying to clean it up. We've got short term on both banks actually, you know, doing something here, pulling away a lot of fuel. So I don't know why it's, right now I don't know why it's pulling away a lot of fuel. We're sitting at 0 on this one, so even if we, short term is going to be sitting at, it's kind of evening out. I guess we should let it run for a few minutes before I make a decision here. But we're okay actually on these. This one's actually okay. This one, jumping around. We'll look at that. Look at our intake manifold now, right? Now we're more in the realm of reality, and let's look at both of our O2 sensors to see if they're doing anything. I mean, and remember, this is not an actual, this is, I mean, I would need to look this up again to be sure that's not an actual number. But I'm going to need to look that up to see if it's wideband, but I'm sure it's a wideband O2 sensor. So that would tell me that this is supposed to be running off amps, and what it's doing is it's just taking that reading and translating it into a voltage for us that we're used to seeing. Comment down below if it's not a wideband. I'd love for you to tell me. I'm going to look it up anyway. But all right, let's go over here, and now we're going to do this. Look at our yellow is already better. At least it's doing something. It's not sitting right on the ground. Let me go rev it up. All right. Now we got something. Now we got something.
Yeah.
So, this is what we should see. Engine vacuum obviously is moving. You know, we open the throttle. The engine vacuum goes, I mean, the pressure goes up, which is what we should see here. Because we open the throttle up, we let atmospheric pressure come in, and that's higher pressure than what's in there when we're pulling, when an engine is, you know, pistons are pulling against the throttle plate. So we've got this part of it fixed. Is it now fixed for the running rough? Let's take a look at our misfires. So now we got to go back into our enhanced side. I think history. There we go. All right, let's take a look and see what this looks like. It does feel like it's running smoother, but again, it would kind of come and go a little bit. Don't want to go scanning. Let's do that. And let's go to misfire. Bam. Look at there, guys. Fix the misfire. So, you know, now, you know, do we need to look at the evap system? Probably, but I don't know. I'm going to do some research on that. And we definitely, now we need to get more testing time, because if it needs something with that. Exactly. So, if this map sensor does have an effect on the evap system where it would somehow throw a large leak and a small leak code, okay, maybe we fixed it, but I'm going to look that up. If it can't, then we're going to go to the client and say, hey, we fixed this running problem, did not need coils, did not need spark plugs, did not need an intake manifold or an intake manifold gasket, but now we want to get rid of the check engine light. So how are we going to do that? Well, we need to fix the evap problem, and don't forget it's got a thermostat code in it also, which is extremely common. So we'll need to go down those paths to see if they want to fix that, or if they just were worried about the running rough. Maybe the light's been on for a while. You know, I suspect that the light's been on for a little while because we didn't have all these things fail at one time. Even if we take out the map sensor, even if it could set these codes for the evap, it's definitely not going to set a code, I don't think, for the thermostat. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. Hit that subscribe button. hit that thumbs up, leave a comment down below. We appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next one.